Let me welcome you to episode 2 of season 4 on the Lead2xceed chart on trust. If you have not yet seen episode 1, by all means, go and have a look at it. But if you've seen it already, here we go with episode 2. My name is Baye, your host on this chart. In this episode, I'd like to chat with you about the various dimensions of trust. Very often, when we talk about trust, the first thing that comes to mind is the concept of trust in personal relationships. Of course, that is at the very core of the subject because it is like the nucleus. But is that the only dimension of trust? Come along with me as we seek an answer to this question. Let me go back to Stephen Covey's book, The Speed of Trust. He describes various dimensions of trust as waves of trust. I gather that the reason he uses the concept of waves is that each of these dimensions are interconnected and in many ways could be the result of each other. Let me discuss the 5 waves that Stephen Covey identifies. The first wave begins from our own selves and it is called self-trust. Self-trust is about how much we believe in ourselves and our decisions. It is how much we have built ourselves to be true to ourselves. It is about how we keep our commitment to ourselves and do what we say we will do. Self-trust is about the alignment between what we say and what we do, and it is at the very heart of our own credibility. You see, when we do not trust ourselves, it makes it difficult for us to make quick decisions and even back our own decisions. People who do not trust themselves seek reassurance and advice from others instead of tuning into how they feel about a situation. They postpone decisions, procrastinate, as they would rather do so than make the wrong decision. They tend to be quick to doubt their own ideas and opinions until they have tested them with others and sought validation. They also do not recognize their own innate value and worth. Clearly, self-trust is so important in how it affects many other things an individual does or how they relate to others. In fact, people who do not trust themselves cannot give trust to others and cannot be trusted also. Self-trust really gives credence to the ancient wisdom that you cannot give what you don't have. It is important to build your own credibility with yourself if you can build credibility with others. Not having personal trust can inhibit one's ability to influence other people. The second wave of trust is relationship trust and is the most obvious concept when we talk about trust. This is about the trust we establish with others, whether it's at the start of a relationship, during a relationship, or on an ongoing basis. In the relationship wave, we establish trust, extend trust, or when it is lost, we restore it. Trust in relationships is about consistent behavior. Consistency is probably the most important thing when it comes to relationship trust. You must have heard it said about some people that they are not predictable or they are unreliable. This is where relationship trust fails. The difficulty with relationship trust is that it only exists when another person can experience it. The good news, though, is that there has been many bodies of research that help us know which behaviors are common to high trust leaders around the world. These behaviors are based on the principles that govern trust in relationships. The other good news is that these behaviors are not totally driven out of natural talent and so can be learned and lived throughout life and by anybody in the family. Relationships thrive, endure, and function on trust, and they also fail or malfunction on the lack of trust. The third wave is organizational trust. As leaders, we can generate trust in all kinds of organizations, including businesses, not-for-profit organizations, government entities, educational institutions, and families, as well as in teams and other micro units within the organization. There are organizations, bodies, and units that deeply entrenched in a culture of distrust. And this can be seen in how many control structures are built around day-to-day operations, hierarchy, decision-making, innovation, and change. There are also organizational cultures that are marked by trust at various levels. The role that leaders play in building organizational trust is so important. Leaders have a role to play in setting the organizational values and purpose. They have a role to play in ensuring that these values are modeled by themselves in the leaders. They have a role to play in setting the tone from the top. And they have a role to play in ensuring that the goals of the organizations are aligned to the values of the organizations and they are built into performance management processes. They also have a role to play in driving the authenticity with which their clients and staff are treated. Leaders have a big role to play in creating the organizational culture of trust. The key principle underlying this wave is alignment, and it helps leaders create structures, systems, and symbols of organizational trust. Alignment is critical because high-trust organizations are so called because they work hard to align the organization ethos and values that promote trust, and they align it in all the principles that ensure it is consistently applied, whether it has to do with staff or clients or daily operations. According to the Harvard Business Review, leaders play a crucial role in building trust within the organizations. Leaders set the tone for the culture and establish norms of behavior. If leaders aren't focused on trust, communication, collaboration, and innovation will suffer. Leaders create a safe environment where people feel comfortable expressing themselves and taking risk. It means being transparent and authentic, and it requires establishing clear expectations and following through on these commitments. The fourth wave, market trust, reflects the trust customers, investors, and others in the marketplace have in you, and as the name implies, it takes the organization and puts it out there in the market. Every organization is set up to serve an identified target group of clients who use their products and services. Key to the success of firms in serving their clients and create value for their shareholders is the need to be trusted by their clients. Clients need to know what they get when they deal with a company. They need to know what experience to expect when they interact with the company and its staff. And they need to know if what the company says about its products is true. These things are all about trust. Businesses have a reputation. Churches have reputations. Influencers have reputations. Schools have reputations. Hospitals and GPs have reputations. Car brands have reputations. Airlines and aircraft manufacturers have reputations in different places, and government institutions have a reputation too. And the police have a reputation. Richard Branson is quoted as saying, "All you have in business is your reputation." So it's very important that you keep your word. The question is, when people see the brand of a firm they know or have dealt with, what comes to their mind? When there's a high trust brand, customers buy more, they refer more, they give the benefit of the doubt, and stay with you longer. Henry Ford puts it this way: you can't build a reputation on what you are going to do. Final wave, societal trust. One of the key drivers of societal progress is the idea of giving back. The society trusts the people who do not live only for themselves but for others. The concept of giving back works on the principle that people achieve various degrees of successes because the wider society has contributed in one way or the other to their achievement, no matter how small. This contribution varies from just being the context of the formation of an individual to the land on which a company operates and the resources that form its raw materials. Consequently, there is an expectation that the individuals or companies must give back to the society, or in more recent speak, pay it forward. Individuals and companies who do not hold back their contribution but give it back to help the development of the society help build a pot of trust with the people. One of the ancient Jewish kings, who is renowned for his wisdom, has said, "A man's gift will make room for him and bring him before kings." Talents, gifts, knowledge, and skills will open doors, but it takes character to keep you in those rooms. Trust is the pivot around which character is built. Let me wrap up this chat by saying that if you have not seen the episode 1 in this series, make it a point to check it out. This is probably one of the most insightful and revealing subjects I have engaged with, and I find the content I'm sharing most rewarding. So here's what I would request you to do. First, subscribe to this channel so that you do not miss this series. Like and comment to get more people seeing it, and share this video as widely as you can. And by all means, if you have any questions or comments or reflections, please share them with us. In my next chat, I will be dealing with the foundations on which trust is built. And you don't want to miss that chat. I'm Henry Baye on the Lead2xceed chat. See you soon.